Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. It is the 210th edition of the show. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And this week on the show, we are going the ridiculous route. Ridiculousness, if you will. It's ridiculous edition of the show. Had a bicycle. Anyway, and that's ridiculous. That's not on my list because I just thought of it. But we are talking about what we think are five of the most ridiculous, each of us, five of the most ridiculous moments in pro wrestling. Not necessarily bad. It's not. This isn't the Hall of Shame. It's not necessarily bad if it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous is not a bad thing in wrestling.
Not always. Sometimes, but not always. And I want to thank anybody that gave me feedback or listened to the little pop-up episode of the show I did earlier in the week. I got pissed off about some stuff and recorded a short episode. I might do that from now on. It's a random Tuesday afternoon and I'm pissed off about something I see on the internet. I might just record 15 minutes of me ranting. So be prepared for that if you're out and about listening to the show. But yeah, like I said, the topic of the day, topic of the moment that we're discussing here, ridiculous moments in wrestling. And Aaron, since you came up with the idea, do you want to go first with your number 5?
Doesn't matter to me, however you want to do it. You're the host, so we can do that. Ahead. I have 3 that I love because of how ridiculous they are, and then 2 that are just, other than my honorable mentions, then 2 that are just ridiculous in my point of view because they're just trash. So which one would you like first? Like, would you like a fun ridiculous or a this is complete and fucking utter garbage ridiculous?
Start with a fun one.
All right, so we are gonna go with what I think is the most ridiculous music video in the history of professional wrestling, and it is Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo starring Mean Gene Okerlund. I know you've seen it.
Yes.
Everybody's seen it. And it is fucking ridiculous. He's Professor Peabody or whatever. And I'm not and what I'm saying, and like I'm not saying it's ridiculously bad. I'm saying it's so bad it's good. You know what I mean? But it's like, what did I just watch? That is insane. Like when he's just like, right at the beginning, and he's got like the fucking like tinsel wig and the glasses, and he's in all spandex. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And what is that from 85?
I don't want to say
it might not be year. It might be later. It might be like 86 or 87 because in 85, even though they were doing TNT and stuff, they hadn't got into like what I call like the surreal coked out shit that they would do, like Kentucky Fried Wrestling, you know, like wow. Because I have
Rock and Roll. It might be the same one that I have too, but Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, Mean Gene Okerlund. If you people have never seen this video, it's fucking insane, and it's Mean Gene rocking out with Derringer, and he's in the classroom, and Mrs. Featherbottom or whatever her name is, she starts dancing on the table, and it's just it's pure insanity, but it's fantastic. There's a point where Gene's dancing and they speed it up like times 10, so he's dancing like super fast. And it's just like and it's Mean Gene doing his Mean Gene voice singing Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, and I fucking love it. If I'm ever in a bad mood, I just watch it. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, I was trying to look and see here because I know that it's on one of my, I was just scrolling through my, because it's one of my like what do you call, I don't know if they call it favorites or whatever on YouTube, but it's one of my like highlighted videos that's in a list or whatever.
Mean Gene Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo?
Yeah. I was just, I know I was looking at my list of the video to see if it says what year it was actually released. Let me see. But like I said, I know it's in my.
I can tell you. I can tell you because I was like, I think I have it, and I have the cassette. It's the Pile Driver 2. So Pile Driver 2 came out in 1987.
All right, yeah. 87. 87 was the height of that shit, that insane shit with like stuff from the Slammies, and so yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah. It's on there with great things as Crank It Up by Mean Gene, Waking Up Alone with Hillbilly Jim and Gertrude, Stand Back with Vince, all kinds of shit. Girls in Cars. Yeah. It was a super fun fucking time, man. Anyway,
It's
that's my number one.
let's see.
Well, not my number one, but my first one.
Your first one. Watch this. Y'all can't see the video, but you can hear the audio. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I figured since I had it up, what the hell?
It's fun times.
Well, the first one on my list.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, other than the outfit, like if you just want to imagine what the voice sounds like it's like imagine your like uncle getting drunk at a wedding and there's karaoke and he's gonna sing Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. That's what this is. It's fantastic. Go ahead.
Very accurate. The first one on my list. And it's actually it's funny on my notes because it's just 3 words, but Snitsky kicks baby. For those of you that don't know, go ahead.
No, you explain. You can explain yours. I have to explain mine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for those of you that don't know, it was back in, I believe, 2004 when Snitsky came into the WWF. And he came in originally as not as just, but cast as. He was supposed to just be a jobber that Kane was going to squash. Well, he happened to be the guy that accidentally cost Lita her baby. Yeah, this is WWF in 2004, everybody, which was Kane's baby. And we went through a subsequent thing, meeting Gene Snitsky. Yeah, should I have to subjugate myself to Kane's abuse? That's where it wasn't my fault came from. That it wasn't his fault that he got pushed down on Lita or whatever and cost her the baby. Well, lo and behold, he turns out to be not such a nice guy. And at one point on Monday Night Raw, he brought out a little baby carriage with a little baby in it. And as a way to mock Lita and Kane, he actually punted the baby doll out into the crowd.
And the crowd doesn't react with boos. It's an audible, oh! It's kind of like when the crowd reaction is kind of like when, and this is gonna be something only you and I remember. It's kind of like when Ken Shamrock told D'Lo Brown to shut his monkey ass up, and that crowd was like, "Oh,
oh, no!"
Yeah, and if you want to see, one of the best reactions to Snitsky kicking the baby, WWE put out a DVD the 50 most outrageous moments or whatever.
I think I have it somewhere,
and I don't think it's in the I don't think it's in the actual thing. I think it's in like the deleted content or whatever. But they show it to Lawler, and Lawler remembers it. And Lawler, like, like sometimes you watch those DVDs, like, oh, these guys are doing a put on or whatever, or they're hamming it up for the DVD. Like, he legitimately laughs his ass off at that. Like, he can't stop laughing. And he's talking and like basically saying how hard it was for him not to laugh like that when it actually happened. But it is the whole fit and caboodle is ridiculous from top to
Yes.
bottom. The whole Kane Lita pregnancy thing, it's all insane. But yeah, him punting that baby, nobody. That was like when that shit where nobody saw that coming. So yeah, it's a good time, and would be something that they would never do now. If
No.
somebody
Oh
punted
no.
a baby into the crowd, they'd get fired.
Well, what do you got next?
All right, I'll do. You want me to do one of my? This one's not bad, good, but bad, bad.
Sure.
Um, it was just bad television. It was annoying to watch. Um, I don't know how anybody ever thought it was a good idea, even coming from WCW, but it is Rick Steiner arguing with the Chucky puppet.
Uh, I almost put that on my list, but I was like, somebody else will have to have that on their list.
It's one of the worst things that's ever been done on a wrestling show. Like,
Yeah.
it's worse than RoboCop. It's worse than when WWE had Rampage Jackson act like he was Mr. T from the 18. It's worse than any of that because like this is a puppet. And it's not like it was like a stupid little skit like the Muppets show up at Raw
That's what
and
I
the
was.
wrestlers are in on the.
That's what I was about to say. It was that was what made it so stupid. You totally can understand a wrestling promotion like the WWF or WCW wanting to get in ad revenue dollars to promote a movie or whatever, and that's why WWE that was one of the things they were doing in 2009 or whatever when they had all the guest general managers and all that. They were just infusing income into the show or into the company, but it's totally different with the Chucky thing because like Rick Steiner was selling for Chucky like Chucky was one of the workers. Like, you know what I mean? Like as
Yeah,
far as the promo and stuff when it was so
yeah,
stupid. Like they were acting like Chucky was real.
yeah. Like when the Muppets showed up, it was a cute little segment with like Sheamus having an interaction with Beaker Muppet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just and it's not bad because every celebrity in the history of celebrities has fucked around with not fucked around, but you know what I mean, like done shit with the
Yeah.
Muppets.
And they never
So
have
it's
acted.
okay.
They never have acted.
Now you're froze.
And anyway.
Your head's froze.
Yeah, like I said, it looks stupid. It made Rick Steiner look stupid. It made WCW look stupid to have him intimidated by Chucky. I don't know. If Rick Steiner would have been a Chucky, then it would have been a different thing. But this was live on Nitro.
Yeah, it was bad. Just dumb, stupid shit. Should have never even happened. At least should have been on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do it for like the live crowd or something, whatever, that should not have been a fucking segment. But anyway, go ahead.
The next thing that I have for ridiculous, and we will try to get through this as quick as we can, folks, because I know we're having connection difficulties while we're talking. So I apologize for any audio bullshit. The audio may not be up to par as it normally is this week, but the next one I have is another one that's kind of like the Snitsky thing that makes me laugh, but it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because it's like old school old school campy comedy ridiculous. And the guy did a great job at it. And it is the way that JBL reacts to anything boogeyman.
You don't say boogeyman, but yeah, James, like, um, I think he's the guy that got it over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like before, it was like when he came in, like Simon Dean did a good job, and he was like, "What the?" Oh, but it was just kind of like whatever. But JBL, who was supposed to be this big badass, he would just be terrified of the boogeyman, and it was and um like like I said, I think he's the guy that got it over better than
He
anybody
is.
else.
He is because he
Like the mute.
didn't. Well, and none of it made JBL look dumb because when they were in the ring if they were having any kind of physical interaction in the ring, like wrestling each other, JBL would wrestle the boogeyman and he'd be beating him up and stuff. But it was all the stuff that the extracurricular stuff, like as boogeyman's coming to the ring, JBL's like looking around for him or looking around for the worms or whatever. And he's, just what made it was his physical comedy of, the whole thing. He did great physical comedy in that, pantomiming, and
I love the whole feud. They were like, oh, we got this girl Jillian, and we saddled her with this gimmick with this thing on her face. We got to get out of it. What do we do? We're like, have the boogeyman eat it.
the boogeyman eat the thing off of her face. Yes. Have boogeyman eat her disgusting mole. It's
like whoever uttered that word, whoever that line, and said, "Oh, this Jillian, she's an attractive girl, and we want to give her a better gimmick eventually. We got to get this thing off her face." And somebody was like, "Why don't we have boogeyman eat it?"
Vince was like,
They deserve a fucking award for that. I don't know if it was Gerkowitz or not, but whoever came up with that fucking idea, they're a champ, man. That's a great fucking idea.
It almost sounds like a Pritchard idea.
Yeah, was he there?
What was that, 2006? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't think he was there. I think it was between gigs thing. He might have phoned it in.
Yeah, but yeah, that was
even when he wasn't there, he was there type of thing. But anyway.
Yeah. Kind of like
but that is good shit.
JBL has this ability. He has this ability, and then I don't know if it's going to even make sense when I describe it. But he has this ability to, first of all, he has great facial expressions. He has a great dumbfounded face. And then he also has this ability to take his body, and he's almost like an emu or an ostrich or something. It's almost like the top half of his body can stretch out when he's trying to react to something. I don't even know how to describe it other than if what I'm saying makes sense.
He's also very he's not as good as the guy I'm going to say, but he's also William Regal-esque in that aspect of he's just good at pantomiming and just he worked in an old school wrestling way of sometimes too, I'm not just selling for the front row, I'm going to sell the guy all the way in the back.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. Even though wrestling changed that when television became a thing, he still kind of held on to it. You know what I mean?
And also having nothing to do with ridiculousness, but just because I want to mention it, he's also like a super underrated color commentator.
Yep, I would agree.
All right, so what's next on your list?
All right, let's go with a good-hearted one, and it is a very quick clip. It's kind of like Snitsky punting the baby. Well, it kind of actually is, because it's a big person doing something to a little person, and it is WCW again, but this is Jeff Jarrett smashing Beetlejuice with his guitar on Nitro. Beetlejuice, if I remember right, I think he's wearing a Superman outfit. I think
He is.
something with a cape. He's wearing a cape, and he goes, "You step nuts."
You slap nuts.
You step nuts. And Jarrett goes, "What you say to me? You step nuts." And then he just cracks him with the fucking paper mache guitar, and the little guy goes down. And Jarrett like calls him a bitch or whatever and walks away. It's fucking fantastic. You step nuts. You step nuts. You step nuts. What
It's fucking stupid.
I know, but Jared does such a good job with it. Like he's dumbfounded at first. Like he's all shocked at this little midget. It's like, "Hey, you stop nuts."
He's like, "What did Coco Beware to say to me?"
Because, like, honestly, Jared's done nothing to Beetlejuice the entire show. They're just in the cry. They're just in a hallway. And Beetlejuice is like, "Hey, you stop nuts." What you say to me? Yeah. And then he makes him repeat it, and then he cocks him with the guitar. What was that?
That's all. I was just gonna say that's also something else you could never do today.
Oh no, you couldn't hit a little midget person with the guitar. Ugh.
Especially a little midget person. Especially a little midget with a disability. No way. Wait, a little black midget with a disability. Like, nope, can't do it.
Big Cass kissed that midget and they fired him.
You slap nut. You slap nut.
Hey, you slap nut. Hey, you slap nut. What'd you just say to me? Oh, go ahead. I love that guy. Like, I like showing that to non-wrestling fans. I'm like, this is why I like wrestling. Watch this. And every time they laugh their asses off. I don't know if they laugh harder at that or that little Mexican midget that's dressed up like the monkey that gets drop kicked off the side of the apron. You ever seen that thing?
Oh God, yes. It's a lucha libre legend.
Yeah, I don't know what I show those to people. I don't know which one they laugh harder at, Beetlejuice or the little monkey. I'm like, that's wrestling. That's why it's great. You ain't gonna see that on fucking NFL. Go ahead. Your next one.
My next one is ridiculous because it's stupid. So, and it's almost, I mean, it goes into the realm of the, and again, this is pro wrestling, and we know that there's all kinds of crazy shit that's been done over the years, and et cetera, et cetera. There was a time, for those of you that don't know, where to hype up matches for pay-per-views, WCW was doing mini movies. And they had okay, for example, they had one where Sting and Jake Roberts were going to have a spin the wheel, make the deal match. And they have Sting go into like a bar. There's all these people with Jake Roberts. And actually, to be honest with you, other than the way it was kind of shot and the fact that they said they had a to be continued in it, it almost could have carried itself as just a segment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was more cartoony, but I mean, we had times during the Attitude Era where Vince McMahon went into bars looking for Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that one I can almost
we just recently had a Boneyard match.
Yes. So that one I could let slide because it was almost plausible. But the one that I just can't accept is the fucking boat explosion one.
That's on my honorable mentions, by the way.
Yeah, Vader and Sid were going to face Sting and the British Bulldog. I think it was at Bash at the Beach or something. And they have this whole movie, Beach Blast, back then. Yes.
Bash at the Beach. Sorry, you're right. It's Bash at the Beach. That's when they changed it. But go ahead.
But yeah, so they're going to have a match, a tag team main event at the pay-per-view, and they did the mini movie. And if they would have just done the mini movie where you have Vader and Sid show up on the beach and like beat up the Bulldog and Sting, that's fine. That's well within the realm of everything. The thing that makes this thing ridiculous and stupid is, and those of you that haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. You can find it. They have cutaways like it's a movie. The story of the movie they're trying to tell is ridiculous. They have a midget, back to midgets again. Cheatham the midget. Not only does he swim to go put a bomb on the boat, but we get a POV shot, like we're inside his scuba gear, watching him swim toward the boat to put the bomb on it. The acting's terrible.
He has a dorsal fin. Don't forget that too.
As we're describing it, you probably don't even need to see it to realize how stupid this was. It was just so stupid.
Sid's wearing flip-flops.
I bet before they did that, Harley Race was probably like, for everything I ever did as the king in the WWF, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my career. Because at least with the king, he was still portrayed. He just had to put on the ridiculous crown and the cape. He was still portrayed
as a wrestler. And anybody can be like, any sport can be like, I'm the king, you know. Like he might not wear the outfit, but like LeBron James called King James. You know what I mean? It's like that's just a thing. And boxers wear fucking crazy outfits to the ring. You know, before UFC became what it is, those guys used to wear crazy outfits to the ring. That's the thing. But this is just fucking stupid. The acting's bad. It's no good all the way around. Just all bad. And like you said, I could imagine maybe like Sting going to a biker bar to like confront Jake Roberts, or people do get insomnia and get lost, or not insomnia,
amnesia
and get lost and don't know where they're at. That is a thing. It happens. But this is it's stupid.
But yeah, that was the next one on my list.
But just so, in case you guys don't want to watch it, don't worry. Sting and Davey did not get exploded, and they saved the children, and everything was all right. And everybody made it to the arena on time. But nobody was arrested for attempted murder, even though it was on film.
No. I got another one of attempted murder coming up, but we'll get to that in just a minute. You're next.
All right, it might be the same one that I got. Is it a WCW incident?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, mine's an attempted murder one. So do you want my ridiculous? I only have 2 left on my main list. So do you want ridiculous bad, ridiculous good?
Let's go with a ridiculous bad.
The ridiculous bad is, once again, we're in WCW land, and it is the Cobo Hall fall. It's the giant falling off the Cobo.
How did I not put that one on my list?
Yeah. It's 2 men, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. The Giant. First, they're having a monster truck sumo match. If that's not bad enough, Hogan ends up beating the Giant in the sumo monster truck match. They get out of the trucks. They start fighting. They fight to the edge of the Cobo Arena, whatever you want to call it. And as they're fighting, the Giant plummets to his demise off the side of the Cobo Hall. And now they don't know what's going to happen with the main event. Like, they're worried about that. The show continues. This Halloween Havoc. And we get to the main event. What are we going to do? The Giant, he's fallen off. He's fallen off in the Detroit River or whatever. And he comes out unscathed. perfectly fine, and ends up defeating Hulk Hogan by disqualification. And then to add on to that, the Yeti then shows up and butt fucks Hogan, and that's
Yes.
how we go off the air.
the Yeti and the giant DP Hogan.
Yes.
Okay, so there's three things I want to say about this. First of all, once he comes out to do the match, they no sell it. They completely, and I don't think they ever even talk about it getting on Nitro. They realized how fucking stupid it was once they did it. Secondly, the other, like, I guess amusing thing about it is at this time, very reputable ring announcer Michael Buffer was doing the announcing for WCW in the ring. So when the Giant comes out, he goes, and the challenger, who is miraculously still alive. And like, he's just like, it's so fun. This is fucking stupid. But not too long after this, they could have explained how the Giant lived. Because not too long after this, Loch Ness makes his debut. So they could have, Loch Ness was swimming to the States. He fell on Loch Ness.
He fell on Loch Ness, and Loch Ness rode him to shore. It's fantastic.
My story's better than theirs.
Bobby Heenan even said that he was like, I told him that he should come out. He should have like a big fish in his tights, indicating that he fell in the river.
Little seaweed hanging from his head. Yeah.
Even though falling off a building into the river would still fucking kill you.
I was about to say though, that's probably Bobby's look at it. Like he's a wrestling guy, so if you're gonna do something so ridiculously stupid, fucking take it all away. You know what I mean? You own it.
Yeah. And maybe these people are too stupid to realize that if you hit the river, you're still gonna die anyway. Because it's just like hitting concrete. But yeah, it's all bad, and it leads to like him falling off the building leads to just like a domino effect of just hot trash. We like I said, like the Yeti comes out of this, and it's just it's all bad. One of the dumbest things that's ever been done.
Son.
One of the dumbest things that's ever been done on fucking any wrestling day. Like I remember going to school the next day, and everybody in school like, did you see that stupid fucking shit? And we're in like middle school, and we're like, that was the fucking dumbest thing I've ever seen.
The only good things to come out of the Dungeon of Doom are now, however many years later, looking back on it as campy comedy and being able to laugh at it. Of course, that's fun. But the only other thing that was good that came out of it, there's almost nothing cooler in wrestling. And I'm not going to even comment on him as a wrestler because I've seen very little of it. But man, there's almost nothing cooler in the history of wrestling than Curtis Iakea's voice.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that dude's fucking, man, I love his fucking voice.
And I know we talked about him falling off the building and everything, but we got Paul White out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I was just saying in general, like if you watch the Dungeon of Doom, there's little funny things. There's no Hulkamaniacs here. Like there's stuff now where you can look back and go, that's fucking stupid, but it's funny.
Oh, it's not hot.
Yeah, it's cold.
Or whatever. It's cold.
Or when Vader shows up to save him and he's just in his tights. Like, like the dungeon is somewhere in the arena.
Yeah. So stupid.
Oh God.
It's so fucking bad. Dungeon of Doom is one of the worst fucking things. And like I said before, if they wouldn't have taken it to like that extreme, like if it would have just been Kevin Sullivan having this like cabal of freaks around him,
yeah,
and it was like in the arena and stuff,
like he did in Florida.
I don't think it wouldn't have been so bad. But it's like when you start putting in like him falling off a building and this fucking Yeti, which is actually a mummy exploding from an iceberg. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I I don't know. If they would have taken it just like I said, put it in the arena, and it would have been still would have been bad, but it wouldn't have been like shitty bad. You know what I mean?
Cringeworthy. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, more attempted murder. Next on my list. Next thing on my list is not only stupid, but it is also a little bit funny because of the way it's shot. And it is Kane setting Jim Ross on fire. Like it's so because like you said with the one thing, nobody ever arrested Kane for attempted murder, but it's like JR's on his belly and he's on fire. He's like, and the screaming.
Isn't he back like 2 weeks later?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. A lot of that, I don't watch a lot of that a lot. You know what I mean? Like as much as I do like 90s stuff. So I can't remember exactly what the time frame. It's funny. I typed Kane sets on YouTube and immediately it says Kane sets JR on fire. Because I just wanted the folks that maybe have not ever heard it to hear the sounds of Jim Ross on fire. So do you have more to say about it while I let this load?
It's just Vince McMahon enjoyed setting Jim Ross up to do these one-on-one interviews with these guys that he's gonna get down to the bottom of it. And then they just end up beating the shit out of him or setting him on fire or whatever.
Yes.
And it's like I don't even think they did a thing where like JR was like I don't even think they did a thing where JR was like, I don't want to press charges on him or anything. It was just like, well, he tried to set the guy on fire and it didn't work. So it is what it is.
So, all right. So essentially, like Aaron said, this is just like if you've ever seen like a sit down interview. They start this out like it's supposed to be like just like a sit down sports type interview. Kane eventually gets pissed at JR, throws him on the floor. So JR is on his belly right now, and I'm going to start the video here.
Kane, listen to me.
Oh, Austin's trying to keep him from not doing it.
Put it down, Kane.
Dumping gasoline on JR.
You as a crew member.
Listen to me, Kane, you sick son of a bitch. Please, Kane. Back off. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do this, Kane. Somebody's got to stop it. Put the matches down.
He's lighting the matches.
Put it down, Kane.
And he lit JR on fire. It's so bad.
Somebody get somebody in there.
I mean, at least they didn't like char him. Like they didn't let it go too long.
Well, what's funny that I kind of forgot. I guess I just kind of, I don't know. Like earlier I said, but I noticed a couple of times in there, JR was actually yelling the word ow, 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 ow. It's so stupid. And you can obviously see it's not Jim Ross. It's like a stunt man or something that's actually been set on fire. But it was just, I don't know. That's at the height of the afterbirth of the Attitude Era, or the end of the Attitude Era, where it's like it's not the Attitude Era anymore, but they're still trying to, it's just like we've pushed the envelope so far that now everything we're doing is just fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's like it's the time between attitude and ruthless aggression.
Yeah. Well, and actually, no, I'll say this. At this point, SmackDown is already in ruthless aggression. but Raw is
Okay.
still like doing shit like Katie Vick, this stuff with Kane setting JR on fire, the lesbians, you know what I mean? Like just that was actually they actually flashed on Monday Night Raw, the lesbians. That's just what these two women were
Yes.
called. What a tag
HLA.
team. The lesbians.
HLA. Hot lesbian action. And they weren't even that hot.
One looked like Fran Drescher. All right. So what's numero uno for you?
All right. I left this for last because it's some of my favorite things that's ever happened in professional wrestling. And it's two different things, and I'm going to jam them together because it's kind of the same storyline or whatever. And it is Fuji General and Fuji Vice. Some of the greatest shit they ever did. I love Fuji General. Like everybody talks about Fuji Vice, and that's fine because that's funny too. But Fuji General is fantastic. They're so fucking bad, and they just keep looking at the camera. Like and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's Don Morocco and Mr. Fuji, and they're gonna go to Hollywood and they're gonna make a name for themselves and be actors on the small screen, and they are fucking horrible.
Yes.
And they picked the two best guys to do it with. Morocco has the best fucking cadence of that's his natural cadence of his voice, you know what I mean? And Fuji can't talk. So it's like the two perfect guys to do this bad acting with. And if you guys have never seen it, you owe yourself to watch it because it's that WWF comedy that most people hate, but I think it's fun. Like, how do I say it? Most people say they hate, but secretly love.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I was just about to say, you said Fuji, like you mentioned, I don't know what you exactly said about Fuji like being terrible, but the greatest thing about it is like, okay, so Don Morocco is acting like a bad actor, he he realizes what he's doing and he's acting like a bad actor. He knows the gimmick, he knows what's going on here. The greatest thing about those things is Mr. Fuji is literally just there, like he's not even acting like he's bad.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's just being Mr. Fuji, and it's fucking great. And I don't know if this would be count. I'd count this in this era too, but I was more talking about the TV shows they were trying to do. But them doing their stand-up routine is one of the greatest fucking segments in wrestling history.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some tropical stuff. I mean, topical stuff.
Hurricane? Oh, Gene fucking loses it.
They
Gene
both
fucking
do, like him and like that's not him. That's not him. Like, hee haw laughing for the
oh
fucking cameras.
no,
That is him. Like, this shit is so fun. Like, he's like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my
that was
life.
locker room laugh.
Yeah. And like I said, for Fuji Vice, if you guys have never seen Fuji Vice or Fuji General or Morocco Fuji doing stand up, you owe it to yourself to fucking watch it because it's some of the funniest shit in the history of that company. Love it.
So my last one is from 1987. We were just talking about it earlier. Kind of goes back to the same thing as the Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo with Mean Gene. So it's funny because we kind of sandwiched this thing with that. It is from the Slammies, 1987. Watching all the coked out WWF superstars performing If You Only Knew.
Yeah.
Have you Have you ever seen it?
Oh, I have. I had Vince stand back as one of my backups. But
okay, yeah, that's
the same
great
episode.
too.
But
yeah,
the whole,
if you only knew thing cracks, I think to myself, half of these guys don't even want to be doing this, and the other half are coked out of their fucking mind.
and it's funny because, like, yeah, they don't want to be doing it, but it's like you're also making more money than you ever made in your entire life.
Yes.
And it's just fun, you know. And like the whole Slammy thing was just fun. Like I liked when they had them like all arriving in the different cars, and it was just cool shit. Like we could do like an entire thing on the fucking Slammies.
We could. Do you want to watch it, a little bit of it?
That's fine.
The listeners won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. Go look up WWF Slammy Awards 1987. WWF. Actually, I just put in WWF If You Only Knew music video. But just for us to laugh at for a minute here. Rattle off some of the wrestlers that are on the screen. I feel like Chris Zellner and David Bixen span right now. I'm just bringing up.
It's all right. I was just gonna quickly mention my last two honorable mentions anyway.
King Kong Bundy's got a bow tie.
He's digging. That's a good thing about it. Here's another guy that gets it. Neidhart definitely gets it. Rude does not want to be there.
No. You know Jimmy Hart does.
Oh, Jimmy Hart's got a boner, probably.
Look at Demolition. Look at Demolition back there, looking uncomfortable. Virgil. That's great shit, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rude's like, this is stupid.
This is fucking stupid. He doesn't mind doing it. Neither does he. He's on coke.
Either Coke or Twinkies.
Coke-filled Twinkies. You know Dynamite Kid did not want to be there.
Oh, no.
Davey loved it, probably, with Dynamite Kid.
He was like, if I'm going to be in this, you're going to stand me behind Hulk Hogan, because he's going to be on the camera the most. And you know Coco loved it.
Oh, yeah.
So ridiculous.
Dude, Dynamite's not even trying.
Hey, dude, you ain't got no money to buy me out there. I'd like to fuck you up real bad.
That's the guy in the history of the business right there that did both of them the best. Was Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase is the best guy ever to be a legit old school territory wrestler and then completely embrace the ridiculousness of the WWF 80. You know what I mean? Like he embraced it. He said, "Yeah, you got it, buddy." And you know, he's the guy that I honestly say overall he did wrestling and sports entertainment equally as good as anybody that ever did it.
Yeah, and another thing that helped him too, I think, is that like a lot of guys when they'd get there, they'd make them like I don't want to say dumbed down, but they'd WWF them. You know what I mean? But they didn't do that with him. Like he was still allowed to go out there and have like the best or second best match on the fucking card. You know what I mean?
Yes, he had the gimmick, but once the bell rang,
but when the bell rung, he did traditional wrestling.
And technically, if you think about it, technically, other than the suits, once the bell rang, other than the dollar signs on the side of his tights, they still let him keep the same look he'd always had too. Just black tights, black boots.
It wasn't like he didn't have like big money like like you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like his tights
Yeah.
weren't flashy or anything. He was still
They didn't put him in a
he
big
ripped the pants off, and then it was time to go to work.
They didn't put him in a singlet that looked like a $500 bill or something.
Yeah, he wasn't like a Batman villain. He was just a guy that had a lot of money,
Mhm.
you know, and it worked.
But I just think he was the guy that on either way, whether it be territory like Mid-South or WWF, and actually you got to give Duggan some credit for that too, because he also embraced that shit.
Yeah, but he wasn't as good as Ted.
No. Once he got to the WWF, he did dumb down his in-ring, but anyway, did you want to go through a couple of honorable mentions, or are we done?
Do you have any?
Mm-mm.
Because I only have two, and they can be real quick. The one, I don't know if you've even ever seen it, because it's not even like a WWF or WCW thing, and it's USWA, and I think
you know what's funny? I don't mean to cut you off, but when I was writing my list, I was like, I think I'm just gonna stick to WWF and WCW because there's so much Memphis that I could bring up for being fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
But no, go ahead.
And this isn't even like early Memphis. This is like late where they're almost closing down. And like I said, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but have you ever seen where Jerry Lawler had his little talk show and he was going to present Kamala Sings?
Yes.
It is fucking ridiculous. They're holding me back. And like he's gonna prove that Kamala Sings, and Bill Dundee doesn't think he can, and Kamala does a horrible job lip syncing his own song. Like Kamala is lip syncing a song that he actually recorded, and then Bill Dundee ends up coming out and hitting Kamala with a guitar because Kamala barely sells it, and he's just confused, and it's something that has to be seen to be understood 100%. But it's one of those good, bad, ridiculous things, in my opinion. I love it.
It's sorry, I'm
sing live here today. I promise you, Kamala's going to sing live.
Well, we'll put you up to that, Kingfish. We'll put you up to that. But I believe he's lip syncing.
Oh, you don't know anything, Dundee.
You know what, Coco Beware? You've been running around trying to apologize. Well, I'm not an idiot, so I'm not going to fall for any of your tricks.
kind of fast forwarding through here, folks. Jerry and Jimmy show.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, singing live for the first time ever on network television. Let's welcome Kamala live right here.
He's in a suit, but he's still Kamala.
Yes.
You'll bring me down. I just can't keep holding me back. Can't keep living this way. You keep holding me back. You are guaranteed to bring me back. That keep holding me back. Can't hold me back. You keep holding me back. Can't hold me back.
Yeah, back.
You keep holding me back. Can't hold me back.
Yeah.
Keep holding me back. Can't hold me back. You put up with me for so long. I ain't gonna let you drive me from my home.
And then he gets cracked with a guitar by Bill Dundee. But I love how he's just like, hey, like he's not actually singing.
No, he's just he's lip syncing his own song. It's fucking stupid. But the last thing, and then like I said, we can cut it off. And like I said, I almost put it on my notes, and like you said with JBL, it was like old school, like physical comedy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'm about to talk about, I think, is the most Looney Tunes thing that's ever happened in wrestling, and it's the $1 million contest with Vince when the light falls.
Yes.
And he's freaked out for a second, then the stage collapses,
Well,
and he gets up out of the rubbish,
everything's okay.
rubble, and he's like, I'm all right, and then the fucking thing falls on him. It's the most Looney Tunes scene in the history of professional wrestling.
It's they had an obsession in like 2007, 2008. Trying to kill Vince McMahon. Like I'm sure that was Vince's obsession. Like we gotta kill me as many times as we can. It's like you said, it's Looney Tunes. It's like Wile E. Coyote. How many times can you kill Vince McMahon? But that one is the best. You're right, because it's like first the light falls, and it's like, oh wow, that must have just been an accident. And then the stage falls down. He's gonna get somebody because he gets up. And
everybody doesn't think he's gonna. And he pops up and he's like, I'm okay. Everything's fine. And really then for absolutely no reason, that big thing just falls on him.
It's so funny. I'm okay.
Everything's all right. Everything's okay. And like the commentators are like, oh, he's all right. He's up. He's good.
He's good.
Everything's all right. And then he gets fucking crushed. The only reason I put it in my honorables is because I thought you'd have it on yours. But yeah, it's so fucking great. If it wouldn't be him getting it, like if it would have been the light fell and then the trust thing fell on him, it'd be like, oh, that's all right. It's the I'm okay. Everything's all right.
Everything's fine. I'm okay. Nothing to see here.
Nobody worry. That's what makes it the best. It's him getting up and being like, everything's fine. And the commentators are like, oh, he's good. He's safe. All right.
He's all right. He's good. We're good. It's okay. But they did. Like they were like, okay, so they did the and we'll sign off here in a second, but it was like they did the limo exploding thing, and then obviously the Benoit thing totally shot all of that out of the water. So they were like, all right, well, we can't have Vince McMahon be dead because, some real death tragedy happened. But then it was like for like the next 2 years after the Benoit shit settled down, it was like Vince got this hard on for, we got to kill me. We got to go back to it. We got to kill me.
It's just him standing up. It's so fucking good. But anyway, we'll end it on that note.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Aaron, for joining me for this ridiculous edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
Oh, you're welcome.
And everybody, right now, I am taking in I'm getting the nomination ballots for the Hall of Fame for this year. Those are coming in. Deadline for those is the 13th. After I get all those, we will have the official ballot of 25 for the class of 2023 We Can't Wrestle Podcast Hall of Fame. So I'm looking forward to that. That being said, stay tuned. We'll come up with another probably a non-wrestling one next time. Top 5 list. We've already got a match that Aaron has suggested in the chamber to review, and another top 5 list coming up on the next show. That being said, we'll see y'all next time, and thanks for listening to the We Can't Wrestle podcast, everyone. Have a great week.